Welcome to Beverly's channel. My name's Kathy. Today I'm going to show you how to make this fabric tote. Super easy, super cute, has a little pocket inside, has handles. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and cut our fabric pieces. This is Fusible Fleece. You're going to need two pieces that are 18 inches across and 17 inches high. We also want to take 2-inch corners, 2-inch squares out of each of these corners. And it's super easy. Let me show you how I do that. I measure from this edge over to 2 inches and just make a little mark and connect those two dots. And then I want to measure up this way 2 inches and I make 2 dots, connect those dots, draw a line, and there's my 2-inch square. And let's cut that out. Let's make sure our corners line up first. There we go. All right. And we're going to do exactly the same thing on this side. Alrighty, so we've got that cut and ready. You're also going to want to have 2 strips, and these are going to be used for your handles, and they are 26 inches long and 1 1/4 inches wide. And you're going to need 2 of those. I've got those 2 cut. Then here's our fabric for our tote, and it's 18 inches across, 17 inches high, and I've already taken out the 2-inch squares out of the corners. And of course we have 2 pieces. Here's our lining fabric, and it's the same dimensions, 18 inches across, 17 inches high, and 2-inch squares that you take out of both of the corners, and you've got 2 pieces. Then the last thing is a strip that is 10 inches long. Just imagine this goes all the way out here. It's 10 inches this way, 10 inches wide, by this is the length of your fabric. Fabric usually comes about 45 inches wide. Might be 44, might be a little bit more. So whatever the length of your fabric is, by 10 inches. This is going to be for our straps, our handle straps, and also for our pocket. So what you're going to do now is to measure 26 inches and cut it off, which I've already done. So this is going to be for my 2 handles. This is going to be for my pocket. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. This 10-inch piece, 10 inch this way, 26 this way, we're going to fold in half, match up your edges, and press, which I've already done that ahead of time just to save us some time here. So you're going to open this up, and right on this pressed line, we are going to cut our strip in half. So now we have our 2 handles. This is 5 by 26 and this one is 5 by 26. Now what we want to do is to press this. So let me pull up the ironing board, and we're going to need our iron. Have that turned on. Okay, so let's take this handle, fold it in half, match the raw edges, and press it. Alrighty, let's open this up, and now you're going to fold this edge right into that pressed crease. And we'll just go all the way across. Get a little steam there, and continue all the way to the end. Okay, great. Now do the same thing on this side. Put the raw edge to that center crease. Alrighty, I like to just fold that up again, kind of like a little taco there. All the raw edges are on the inside. Great. Now you're going to open this up and pull out one of those pieces of fusible fleece that you had cut earlier that's 1 1/4 by 26 inches. We're going to just open up one side here, and we're going to put the fusible fleece inside. There are two different sides to the fusible fleece. There's one that's really smooth, and then the other side is kind of bumpy, a little bit rough. This is the side that has the adhesive on it. The adhesive side, the rough side, is what you want to have down on the wrong side of your fabric handle. So line that up, close this up over, and now you're going to press. You can just follow the manufacturer's instructions, but basically you want it on a wool setting with some steam is okay, and press that all the way across. It's just all nicely tucked in. And then all those raw edges are going to be inside of there, and this then you want to pin to get that to stay closed. So let's just start here, matching up those two folds, and we'll be stitching this. All right, let's just go over that one more time. Pressing makes all the difference. Alrighty, we're going to do the exact same thing with our other strip. Great. We will stitch those on the machine on both edges down here, but let's set that aside for a second and put our pocket together. So this piece that's 10 inches wide, and this is going to be 17 inches, 18 inches. It doesn't matter what that ends up being exactly. It can vary. You're going to match raw edges and pin along the sides. All right, let's go ahead and stitch those things that we pinned. We've got our straps, our handles, and figure out either the edge of your zipper foot, or maybe put a piece of washi tape on your sewing machine so that you can get a really nice straight edge and have it be the same on both sides. And we're going to stitch. Alrighty, yay! One side. And let's go down. We stitched the sides, so now let's do the other with the same width of a stitch. And we'll do exactly the same thing for our second handle. And now the pocket. 1/2 inch seam for the sides, and remember, just go around the corner about 1.5 inches. Okay, let's trim our threads. Alrighty, we're going to want to trim the corners. Up here, this is where we have our folded edge. And let's cut that at an angle. And then do the same thing over here. It'll make the corners turn easier and look a little bit better. So let's turn, go through there. ready to press. Alrighty, we're gonna press our pocket, and I like to use something a little bit pointed to just get these corners. Sometimes you can do it with your fingers or stick the end of your scissors or a little shish kebab skewer, something that pokes that nice. Press that seam totally right in the middle there. Pressing just gives it a real nice finished look. Now this part where we turned it, we're just going to press that seam, and when we sew it on to the lining, it'll close up that little opening. Alrighty, so let's pull up our lining pieces. We're going to take one of these, set that one aside. So right here, let's take our pocket and let's not have the opened edge, let's have the folded edge be up at the top of your bag here. And we're going to want to center it so that there's the same amount on each side. And let's see, this is about 4.5 inches. So let's see, whoops. Over here, we have about 4.5 inches, perfect. And up here, we want to have about 4 inches. Wow, that's almost right on. Okay, so let's just double check this side so it's not a crooked pocket. Great. And we're gonna pin this right to the pocket, or excuse me, to the lining. And then we are going to stitch that on. And let's do the same thing over here. Great. Now we're going to take one of our handles, and the two sides, the side that has the two folds together, kind of like the top of a taco folded up together, let's have that be across the top here. You've got your piece, and then you're gonna fold them in. So right here are those two folded edges. This is the one fold. So we're gonna lay it down here. Let's move that. And you're gonna want 6 inches from the corner to this edge of the strap. I'll stick it up there so you can see a little bit better. 6 inches. All right. Raw edges matching. Let's just pin that in place. And then over here, same thing. This raw edge is matching, and we want this to be 6 inches. So we're going to move it right there. That leaves 6 inches in the middle. There we go. So let's do the same thing to the other half of the lining. Let's make sure to have the right edge. We've got our square corners down here. Top edge. This is the folded side up. We're going to bring these two pieces. Let's measure 6 inches. Raw edges matching. And over here, 6 inches with the raw edges matching. Perfect. Alrighty, we're going to pull the sewing machine over and stitch that in place. Alrighty, let's sew our handles, and we just are stitching these here to secure them, so I would say just like 1/4 inch seam. You can even have to stitch them, but I just think it's easier than messing with pins when you get ready to sew this together with the tote. So we're just kind of basting, just getting them to hold their position. Alrighty, now your pocket, I would stitch that and make that about 1/4 inch seam. And up at this top part, right here where the top edge of the pocket is stitched, I'd go back and forth a few times because this is something that you're going to get into a lot, and if it's not extra secure, it's going to come unraveled and you'll be frustrated. If you leave your needle down, then you can just turn, it stays in place, and go across the bottom. Same thing, leave your needle in, you can turn, go to the other side. And don't forget to go back and forth a few times up at the top on this side as well. Here we go. Alrighty, we are going to pin our two pieces of lining together, and then we're going to stitch them. One piece of lining, then we take the other one. We're going to put right sides together. With our handles inside, we're going to pin our sides all the way down, and then here you're just going to pin 2 inches on each side, and then we're going to stitch a 1/2 inch seam in these places, sides, and 2 inches at the bottom. Alright, we are going to sew up these corners, right? We've got these 2-inch squares here that we need to deal with. So, we need to press open our seams first. We want to press open the seams on our lining. So, let's do that. I went ahead and did the other side. So now that we've got the seams pressed open on the sides, we've got these little bottom sections and the side, and we want to close this gap of this hole right here. So we're going to match this seam to the bottom seam. This needed pressed open there. Okay. So seams are matching, raw edges are matching. And I put a pin on each side of the seam just so that it stays open. It's an important little part. And then these edges are together. We're going to stitch 1/2 inch seam across here. From here to here is about 4 inches. And that's going to give us the bottom to our bag. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. So we have open seam. We're going to open this little bottom seam up here, and we are going to match the seams and pin both sides. Just like the other one, raw edges matching. We are almost done with the lining. All right, let's stitch this. Alrighty, I would go back and forth a few times just because you want to be sure that this stays secure and not come unraveled. Double checking, yep, seams are open. do the other corner. Alrighty, we're going to set our lining aside and work on the outside tote. Alright, you want to lay down first your Fusible Fleece. And this time you've got the smooth side laying down on top of your surface where you're going to iron. And this is the bumpy side that has the glue on it. And you've got the wrong side of your tote, and you want to line it up. Sometimes it's not bad just to put a pin in the corner because you don't want it moving around until you get it ironed in place. And come down here. Okay, we're ready to iron. Use a really hot setting. Follow your instructions from the manufacturer for Fusible Fleece. Here we go. Is it sticky? Yeah. Nice. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the other piece. Now, take right sides together, and you're going to pin down the sides and all the way across the bottom. And you know what? Just because I've got a little bit of fabric sticking out here, let's trim that. You'll get a more accurate seam. And remember up here at the top to go back and forth a couple times just so that it's secure. Alrighty, we're going to press these seams open, and let me just tell you that because of this Fusible Fleece, it doesn't really want to lay down perfectly flat, so don't be discouraged if it pops up. The pressing is still a good thing to do. I went ahead and did the other side and the bottom, so now we want to put these corners together just like we did with the lining. So we're going to open this up and we're going to match our two seams, and like I told you, this doesn't want to stay open. Okay, we've got a match. So let's pin this side and this other side. And we're going to do a 1/2 inch seam on the corner like we did before, and side to side is going to be about 4 inches. So let's do this one. All right, we're ready to stitch. All right, let's turn this bag out. You can see we've got our bottom corners. Okay, now we have our lining that we finished before. Alrighty, we've got our handles inside here, and we are going to slide this up over the tote. And we're going to match up seams again. So we've got our lining seam pressed open, and we've got our tote seam right up there. All right, let's do the other side. Lining seam open, tote seam open, match right sides together. Now, raw edges. Right here where the handles are, they're a little heavy. Stick some pins. And let's do the same thing on this side. Up to that edge. This is why I like sewing the handles on. You don't have to worry about pins from that. Get your raw edges matching. We're ready to go. We're going to stitch a 1/2 inch seam that goes all the way around the entire opening to the bag. Here we go. Okay. All right, now we've got our opening in the bottom of the lining. So put your hand inside and basically you're going to take the tote and kind of fold it in half inside, and then it just slides right out that opening. And just pull the lining up over it and it's out. Now, we're on the home stretch here. To make a really good fold for the lining to go inside and to have a nice finished edge, it helps if right now you press the fusible fleece that's on the inside, press it towards the lining. It's a little bit hard to picture, so I made a little sample here for you. If this is our bag, this is our lining, and this fusible fleece seam right here, instead of having it go that way, press it, let me move this over here so it's easier to see. You want to press this seam up towards the lining like this. We're going to press so that our seam is going towards the lining. It's impossible to show that to you on the tote, but when we do that, then when we fold it all to the inside, we're going to be able to get a really nice crisp edge and be able to fold it down. So that's what we're going to do here with the tote. So you just kind of have to feel with your hands a little, and I separate the bag so that this part is kind of down this way, I'm up here, and it's easy to feel that lump, so to speak. Let's leave this down here for right now. Okay, so we're going to press that open inside. All going up. Yay. It seems like a weird step, but it makes it look so crisp then when we're doing the last step. All right, we're back where we started. Now, this is open, and I'm leaving it open right now because sometimes when we stitch around the top, it's like something gets overlapped, and sometimes there's a reason to have to go back inside and take something apart, and it's way easier to not have that all stitched closed. We'll go back and do that later. So I would say start over here at one of your side seams, and you want to roll this so that it's just below. You can see just a peek of the front of the tote, and we want to press and pin that, and then we're going to top stitch that so that it stays just exactly where we want it. Just kind of roll it with your fingers to the inside there. Like I said, it seems a little awkward, but it's an important little step. Okay, last little bit here. Alrighty, Alrighty, let's stitch this. Okay, 1/4 inch seam around the top, a little top stitching. Okay, now let's just double check that we didn't, pucker up something on the inside that we didn't see. It looks awesome, totally smooth. All right, no issues. We can go inside, pull this out, and turn in your 1/2 inch seam. I went ahead and pressed this already. And so now we want to match this up, and we're just going to stitch across there. And that you could do this step by hand if you wanted to. I just like to, real quick, do it on the machine, just super close to the edge. And we're done. I wanted to tell you one other thing, let me tell you, before I put this pocket back inside. We just made our pocket one big pocket here, but if you had wanted to like put a seam down the middle, like you want a section for sunglasses and some other skinny thing over here, you can always put a seam down. You could put 2 seams down. That's totally up to you, but I wanted to tell you that that's something else that you could do back when you were sewing your pocket on. Alrighty, the last thing that I would do is to just press the whole thing, because I always say pressing is what makes it look really finished. So let's do that. All right, there we go. It's all finished, ready to go. We've got our pocket inside, handles. Thanks for watching. See you next time.